Very good evening, everyone. Very good evening. So, my name is Ashutosh Kumar Singh, and again, I'm here in front of you with a new class on Delhi Sultanate. Delhi Sultanate की हमारी ये क्लास बची हुई है. ओके. तो कल हमने दिल्ली सल्तनत की क्लास की शुरुआत की थी. We started this class, and in between, because of some technical issue, I had to close the class. And today we are going to continue the class. Okay. So, what did we study yesterday? Let's see. So yesterday we saw what exactly is how exactly history has been classified, how exactly the history timeline has been divided into the ancient, medieval, and the modern history. Right. After that, we saw that there are two major sultanates that we have to study. One is your Delhi Sultanate, right, and second one is your the Mughals. Okay, and this is in the part medieval. Okay, in the medieval part we have to study these two, and then we were studying about the Delhi Sultanate. In Delhi Sultanate we saw there are five dynasties, the five dynasties that we have to study: the slaves, the Khaljis, the Tughlaqs, the Sayyids, and the Lodis. Okay, so these are the five dynasties that we have to study. Okay, and today we are going to focus ourselves on the slave dynasty and especially on Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. Okay, he is the founder. He is the founder. Okay, so he is the founder. Okay, sure. So let's see. Uh, First thing first, we will go through all the information one by one. We'll go through all the information one by one, and we will try to understand all the points very clearly. All right, just give me a minute. Sure, sure. So first of all, we will see the slave dynasty. Okay, we will see the rulers of the slave dynasty. Okay, see the slave dynasty started with the Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. Okay, they started with Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. Okay. After Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak came his son Aram Shah. He was there for a very small time, not for quite long. He was there only for like 4 to 6 months, and eventually he was deposed by one of the slave of Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. That was Iltutmish. Iltutmish. Okay. After Iltutmish, the next ruler is going to be his son. That is Ruknuddin Firoz. Ruknuddin Firoz. He is going to be the next ruler. Okay. After Ruknuddin Firoz, you will see the first woman ruler, that is Razia Sultana. Okay. So Razia is going to rule. After Razia, you will see the second son of Iltutmish, that is Behram Shah. Behram Shah ruling. Okay. After Behram Shah, you will see the Ruknuddin Firoz's son, that is Masood Shah. Masood Shah. He is going to rule. After Masood Shah, again you will see that a new ruler will come, and his name is Nasiruddin Mahmud. Okay. After Nasiruddin Mahmud, a new ruler will come, and he is not the son. He is not the son of Iltutmish. Rather, I should make it from here. Okay. His name is Balban. Okay. After Balban, his grandson, that is Kakubad, and after Kakubad you will see Kayumar. Okay, so these are all the rulers of the slave dynasty. Okay, let's quickly write down the timeline for them. Let's write down the timeline. So if you see, Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak started with 1206 and he ruled until 1210 when he died, and eventually he was replaced by Aram Shah in Lahore, and in 1210 he came, and eventually after Aram Shah was deposed by Iltutmish, and Iltutmish started the rule, and it was in 1210, and he ruled up until 36. The eldest son of Iltutmish, Ruknuddin Firoz, is going to rule. Okay, he was not the eldest, but you can say he was the eldest one alive at that time, because the eldest son of Iltutmish is going to be dead by the time Iltutmish dies. Okay, we will study it more when we are going to study Iltutmish, because it's a important, very important situation that will happen in the history and in the life of Iltutmish, that is going to give him a new name. That is going to give him a new name. Okay. Sure. So after Iltutmish, the next ruler is Ruknuddin Firoz. He is going to rule only for 6 months again, 1236, and eventually he is going to be deposed by Razia Sultana. Okay, and Razia is going to be there for few years, 1236 to 40, the 4 years of rule of Razia Sultana. Okay, and eventually she will be replaced by Behram Shah. Behram Shah will start his rule in 1240, and he will be there only for 2 years till 42. Okay. After Behram Shah, we will see Mashud Shah. Mashud Shah is going to be there for 4 years till 46. Okay. And after Mashud Shah, we will see Nasiruddin Mahmud, who is going to be there for quite a long time. Okay. And he will be there from 46 till 65. Okay. After 65, his father-in-law Balban is going to rule. He will be the next Sultan, and he will start ruling in 1265, and he will rule up till 87. Okay. In 87, Balban is going to die, and after Balban, his grandson is going to be the next Sultan, that is Qutub-Ud, and he will be there for 3 years. Very weak ruler. He will be there for 3 years from 87 till 90. Okay, and for a day or so, the infant child Kayumar is going to be the ruler. So I'll just write here 1290. Okay, so this is the complete chart that you see. These are all the rulers. These are all the rulers. Let me write the numbers if you are getting confused or something. I'll write down the numbers here. So Qutub-Ud-Din is the first. Aram Shah is the second Sultan. Okay, remember one thing. You have heard kings, right? Kings, Maharaj, Maharaja Dhiraj, and all these terminologies you have heard, right? But always remember that here, when we are reading the Delhi Sultanate, we are going to call the kings as sultans. They will be called sultans. Okay, they are going to be called the sultans. All right. Battery is gone. Thank God. I have a charger here. It's right here. Good job. All right. So second is Aram Shah. Third is your Iltutmish. Okay. Fourth is your Ruknuddin Firoz. Fifth is going to be the female ruler, the first and the last female ruler, Muslim ruler, that is Razia Sultana. Okay. And then we are going to have Behram Shah at the sixth number. Jai Shri Ram Prince. At number 6, we will have Behram Shah, and at number 7, we will have Masood Shah. At number 8, we will see Nasiruddin Mahmud. Number 9, we will see Balban. Number 10, we will see Qutub-Ud, and number 11 is going to be Kayumar. Okay, so these are all the rulers that we have to go through in slave dynasty. However, who are the important ones? Who are the important ones? So let me just mark the important ones separately. Okay, so see, we will study in depth about Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. We will study about Iltutmish, a little bit more about Razia Sultana, and then we will directly come down to Balban. We will go through the other sultans also, but we are not going to study in very depth. Okay, so we are not going to study in very depth. All right. So these are all the sultans and all the rulers of the slave dynasty. Okay. चलो लेट मी पुट अप अ रिमाइंडर, हिंदी में बताइए बेटा। आप लोग की मेरे ख्याल से आप लोग की हिंदी की क्लास हो रखी है। दिस इज स्पेशली इंग्लिश क्लास दैट आई हैव स्टार्टेड हियर। हाउएवर आई विल, मैं आप लोग के लिए हिंदी क्लास भी लेके आऊंगा। ठीक है, ये सारा कंटेंट मैं आपके लिए जल्दी हिंदी में भी लाऊंगा, पूरी एक हिंदी की क्लास होगी। ठीक है, लेकिन जैसा आप अभी देख रहे हो ये पूरी क्लास हमारी इंग्लिश में है एज पर द डिमांड। एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली आप लोग जल्दी हिंदी की डिमांड नहीं किया आपने, पहले इंग्लिश की डिमांड आ गई। सो आई स्टार्टेड द इंग्लिश क्लासेस। ओके, नो वरीज, डोंट वरी, आई विल ब्रिंग द हिंदी क्लासेस आल्सो। इतने ही डिटेल में मैं आपको पूरे हिंदी की क्लासेस भी लेके आऊंगा, सारा पूरा स्लेव डायनेस्टी एंड द कंप्लीट सल्तनत। ओके, सो डोंट वरी। चलो, so we will first study about Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. Okay, so before we start with Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak, if you can see here and you can tell me who ruled for the who ruled for the most number of years, who ruled the highest. So highest rule has been done by whom? Okay, in the slave. However, this is not a question that will be posed for you. However, the students of who are preparing for UPSC or PCS examination, you must be aware about who are the rulers in each dynasties who rule for the highest. Because when the question is going to be posed to you, then you should know the facts very clearly so that you can answer those questions and you can write your answers. Okay? Sure. Now see, we will start with Qutub-Ud-Din Aibak, तुगलक वंश। मैं पूछ रहा हूँ स्लेव डायनेस्टी में which sultan ruled for the highest number of years in the slave dynasty. Okay, chalo, so let's start with first ruler. Our first ruler, what's his name? His name is Qutub-Ud-Din Aibak, very important personality. His name is Qutub-Ud-Din Aibak. Okay, his name is Qutub-Ud-Din Aibak. Chalo, so first, let's see what's the meaning of Qutub-Ud-Din. Before that, let's see the timeline. What's the timeline for Qutub-Ud-Din Aibak? It's 1206. He starts in 1206 and he will die in 12010. Okay, so he has a very short tenure of only 4 years. Qutub-Ud-Din Aibak, very short tenure of only 4 years. Now let's see the meaning of his name. Okay, if you see his name is Aibak. So if you break the words A and Bak, okay, A means uh, the moon, okay, A means the moon, and Bak means the master, okay, the master. So basically his name is the master of the moon, okay, the ruler of the moon, the master of the moon. You can translate, okay. So this is the meaning of his name. Okay. Now you have to be very clear. Qutub-Ud-Din Aibak was a slave. Okay. He was a slave. Whose slave he was? He was slave of Muhammad Gori. Okay. Muhammad of Gor. Muhammad of Gor. Okay. You also call him Muhammad Gori. Okay. So he was slave of Muhammad Gori. Okay. Now it's very important to remember that where he was sold, right? Because if you remember, slave used to be sold in the market during this time. In the medieval times, the slaves were sold in the market. Okay, just like you go in the market, purchase something. In the same way, horses and slaves, they were sold in the market. Okay, so there is a very good market that you will see in Afghanistan region. Okay, and the name of the market is Nishapur. Okay, Nishapur. So he was sold in the market of Nishapur, and from here only Muhammad of Ghor, that is Muhammad Ghori, purchased Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. Okay, he purchased Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak from the Nishapur market. So the name of the market is Nishapur market. Okay, now what's the name of the person who sold him? His name was Qazi Abdul Aziz Koka. Okay, his name was, he was a Qazi Abdul Aziz Koka. Okay, that's the name of the person who sold Qutb-Ud-Din Aibak in the Nishapur market, and he sold him to Muhammad of Ghor. Okay, so remember this. He sold him to Muhammad of Ghor. You also call him Muhammad Ghori. Okay, so this is very important. Remember this point so that when you are going to write something like an essay or something, if you are writing Qutb-Ud-Din Aibak in the examination, at that time you can mention these points, and this will reflect a uh, very good point from your side for the examiner. Okay, so let's see the next point. Let's see what are the different points about him. Let's see what are the different points about Qutb-Ud-Din Aibak and how he became so prominent ruler. Okay. See, first thing you remember about Qutb-Ud-Din Aibak, that he never took, or he never called himself. He never called himself Sultan. Okay. So he never called himself Sultan. What he used to call himself? He used to call himself Malik. Malik. Okay, so he never called himself to be the Sultan. Okay, that's the reason we call him, even though we call him the founder of the Delhi Sultanate, founder of the Delhi Sultanate. This is one of the reason. Okay, we call him the founder of the Delhi Sultanate, but we don't call him the real founder. Okay, the real founder of Delhi Sultanate. Who is the real founder? We call Iltutmish to be the real founder. We call Iltutmish to be the real founder. We will see there are 4 or 5 points, 4 or 5 reasons that you have to understand why exactly the Iltutmish is being called the real founder. And even though the Delhi Sultanate has been started by Qutb-Ud-Din Aibak, Qutb-Ud-Din Aibak is not the real founder. He is just called the founder of the Delhi Sultanate. Okay. Chalo. Let's see a few more points. How he died. Let's see the death at the end. Let's see the death at the end. Okay. We will see more points about him. Now let's try to understand what are the different names for Qutb-Ud-Din Aibak. Okay. So you can make a chart or something. You can make a flow chart for yourself so that you can better understand and you can write. Okay. What are the different names? Names of Qutb-Ud-Din Aibak. Okay, because these names are very important, because these names are asked frequently in examinations, most especially for the one-day examination. Okay, in one-day examination you will see these names popping up many times. Okay, so you must be aware about it. So the first and the most important name that you have to remember is Avshekal. He was called Avshekal. And who called him Avshekal? Who called him Avshekal? Minhas ul Siraj. So there was a prominent writer at his time, Minhas ul Siraj. Okay, so Minhas ul Siraj calls him Avshekal. Avshekal means his one hand was not working properly. He was facing some issues with his hand. Okay, and that's why he was called Avshekal by Minhas ul Siraj. Okay, remember this. Second, the most important name for him is Lakh Baksh. Lakh Baksh. Okay, he was called Lakh Baksh. Why he was called Lakh Baksh? Because he used to donate a lot. He used to donate a lot, and that's why he was given a nickname Lakh Baksh. Who gave him this nickname? This was the general public. It was the general public who gave him the nickname Lakh Baksh, someone who donates a lot. So he used to, whenever he used to go in the field, whenever he used to go in the market within his own people, in his own kingdom, at that time he used to donate a lot of money. So it is said that at one time he used to donate like 1 lakh rupee or something like that. Okay, so that's why he got the name Lakh Baksh. At the same, on the same lines, he was also called Peel Baksh. Peel Baksh. He was also called Peel Baksh. Peel means elephant. Okay, so someone who donates elephant, elephant donator. Okay, elephant donator. So this is one of his name, elephant donator. Okay, so he used to donate elephants, and that's why he was called Peel Baksh. Okay, there's one more name for him, that is Quran Khan. Quran Khan. Okay, this is one of his name, Quran Khan. Why he was called Quran Khan? Because he memorized the whole Quran. Okay, so you ask anything from Quran, the holy book of Islam, you ask anything from Quran, he memorized each and everything, the whole book line by line, and that's why he was called Quran Khan, someone who memorized the Quran. Okay, someone who memorized the Quran. Okay, that's why he was called Quran Khan. Okay, okay. So then we will come to two more names. One is your Malik, Malik and Sipah Salar. Sipah Salar. So these are the two names which normally are written at the same time. These are the two titles. That was, so here titles, make it titles, titles and names. Okay, titles and names of Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. So Malik and Sipah Salar, these are the titles for him, and both these titles were awarded to Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak by Muhammad Ghori. Okay, so remember this. And the last one more title that you have to remember. That is Amir Akhur. Amir e Akhur. Amir Akhur. Amir Akhur means the master of the horses. Master of the horses. Okay, the master of the horses. That means, so there used to be a few soldiers who used to ride on horses. Okay, and he was the leader of them. So he was made the leader. Okay, so master of the horses, Amir Akhur. Okay, so these are the names. These are various names by which, or titles by which Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak is called. Okay, so these are various names by which Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak is called. So you can make while making your notes. You can make such a flowchart in your notebook so that even in the future when you are going to turn pages and you will go back to your notes, it should be that easily available. It should be that easily readable for you. Okay, and once you have read it, I believe it will be very easy to remember, very easy to memorize that what do you mean by Shekel, what do you mean by Lakh Baksh, Peel Baksh, Quran Kha, Amir Akhur, Malik, Sipah Salar. Okay, so these are various names of Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. Okay, sure. After Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak here, his names and titles, we will see his political career. We will see his political career. And give me a minute. And very important thing, one thing that I have already told you, so I will write it in red. Write it in red here on the top. See, he never called himself what? what he didn't call himself? He never called himself to be the Sultan. He always called himself as a Malik. The post given to him by Muhammad of Ghor. Okay, so Muhammad of Ghor gave him this title of Malik, and he always stick by it. He never called himself to be the Sultan. Okay, and you remember that Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak was not free from slavery. Okay, so he was not freed by Muhammad Ghori, and that's why he was not free. So these are various reasons that we will read when we will move to Iltutmish, and then we will study why he is called the real founder, and why Qutb-Ud-Din Aibak is not called the real founder, even though he started the dynasty. Okay, so let's see his political career. Okay, let me change the ink. Okay, so now let's move to the political career. Now, to understand the political career of Qutb-Ud-Din Aibak, we will have to go a little back when Muhammad Ghor was here. Okay, so you know Muhammad Ghori came to India in he started coming to India, and then you know about two wars that happened in 1191 and 1192. These are the two wars: the Battle of Tarain. Okay, Battle of Tarain. Okay, the first, and the Battle of Tarain, the second. Okay, these battles happened between Muhammad of Ghor and Prithviraj Chauhan. Okay, the first battle Prithviraj Chauhan won, but the second battle he lost, and eventually he was killed by Muhammad of Ghor. And after that, you see that this is India. Okay, I will try to make India here. Okay, so this is how we go to the south, and this side like this. थोड़ा सा बेकार हो गया ना. So let's make a better map. Let's make a better map. Okay, so this is how our Jammu Kashmir is going to look like, and we come here like this. Okay, this is our Gujarat part, and this is how we go to the south, and here we see Jammu Kashmir, and like this Arunachal Pradesh. Here we are back, and this is how India looks. Okay, the Siliguri corridor I made a little, I stretched it a little, but you will manage. So Muhammad Ghori started invading India, and he kept entering India. Okay, so you will see that he will keep entering India, and he came up to here, to Bengal. Okay, and he never stayed in India, right? So Muhammad Ghori went back to the Afghan area, that is the Ghor, where he was the ruler. Okay, and eventually he died there. Okay, now you have to remember very clearly there were three main slaves of Muhammad Ghori. Okay, the first slave is Yaldus. Okay, um, second is Kabacha. Okay, and the third slave is Ebak. And these are the most prominent and the most powerful slaves whom Muhammad Ghor promoted them to the post of governors. So whenever he used to win any area, he used to have one governor there ruling in his place, and he used to go back to his original capital. Okay. Now by that time Muhammad Ghori died. At that time, the reason that you see here, this part, okay, here was Ghor. Okay, Ghor was the ruler. Okay, and the Muhammad Ghori died. Okay, now by that time Muhammad Ghori died. At that time, the reason that you see here, this part, okay, here was Ghor. Okay, here was Ghor. Okay, and Yalduz was ruling here. Yalduz. Okay, Yalduz was ruling this portion. Okay, now here if you see the Sindh and the Multan, so these are two regions, the Sindh and the Multan. These two regions are being ruled by Kabacha. These two regions are ruled by Kabacha. And the rest of the India here, which was won by Muhammad Ghori, this was ruled by Aibak. Okay, and when Muhammad Ghori died, before dying, he said one very interesting sentence. He used to call his slaves to be his son. Okay, he used to call his slaves to be his son, and this one line that he said was very controversial. Why? Because you will see that all his slaves now they will claim to be the legitimate ruler, the legitimate next ruler of Muhammad Gaur, and they will claim to be the ruler of each or the whole area. Okay, for example, Yalduz was ruling in this area. This area is your Gaur, okay, and Ghazni, Kabacha is here. Okay, Kabacha is ruling the area that is Sindh and the Multan. Sindh and Multan. These places are in Pakistan right now. And the rest of the India, the Hindustan, is being ruled by Aibak. And they call themselves to be the king of their own places, whatever they were ruling. Okay, but everyone is claiming that we are the legitimate ruler and we are the ruler of all these lands conquered by Muhammad Ghori. Okay, this much story is clear. Now see, Aibak has a very challenging situation here that he has to stop these two people, Yalduz and Kabacha, right? And that is the reason you will see being Delhi here, being Delhi here, he did not made Delhi to be his capital. Okay, he made Lahore to be his capital, somewhere here. Lahore is somewhere here. Okay, so he made Lahore to be his capital. Why? So that he can stop Kabacha and Yalduz from attacking. Okay, so this is the first point that you have to remember, that Aibak, Aibak never made Delhi as his capital. He always kept Lahore to be his capital. Okay, so this is another one reason why we don't call him the real founder of Delhi Sultanate, because the name itself is Delhi Sultanate and the capital was never in Delhi. It was in Lahore during Aibak's time, right? So we can't say that he was the real founder. This is one of the reasons that we will study. Okay. Now see how he dealt Yalduz and Kabacha. How he dealt Yalduz and Kabacha. So Aibak did not had a standing army. Okay, remember Aibak did not had a standing army. Okay, so to deal with Yalduz and Kabacha, he went with the marriage strategy. Marriage strategy. Okay, so first thing, he married his daughter. He married his daughter to Kabacha. Yes, he married his daughter to uh, no, not Kabacha. He married his daughter to Iltutamish. Okay, Iltutamish. Okay, he married his sister. He married his sister to Kabacha. Okay, and he himself married Yalduz's daughter. Yalduz's daughter. He himself married Yalduz's daughter. Okay, so you can see what's happening here. He married Yalduz's daughter. His own daughter he married to Iltutamish, who was at the time was in Delhi and in those regions, and he married his sister to Kabacha. Okay, so these are the different strategies that he used, and with the help of these strategies, now he made sure that Hindustan area is quite stable, and Kabacha and Yaldus are not going to attack. They are not going to attack. Okay. I hope you are very clear. I hope you are very clear about this political reason, his political career, how he controlled, how he saved the Hindustan, and how he established a powerful kingdom, a powerful sultanate. Even though Yaldus and Kabacha, these are also very powerful rulers and they are still there. But he did not use his soldiers. Aibak used the marriage strategy. Okay? He made relations with Yaldus and Kabacha, and that's how he saved the region. Okay? Now, let's see let's see a few more points. Let's see the art and architecture. Let's see the art and architecture. Mostly the architecture, you will not see much of the art here. You will not see much of the art here, but you will see the architecture. Okay. So when we are talking about the architecture, remember the first and the most important point. He made two masjids. Okay, two masjids. Masjids are the Muslims. Two masjids in India. One he established in Delhi. Okay, and the second one he established in Ajmer. Okay, the Delhi one is called the Qutub-Ul-Islam. Hello Amit. The first one is called Qutub-Ul-Islam. Okay, and the one he made in Ajmer is known as Adhai Din Ka Jhopra. Okay, so this is called Adhai Din Ka Jhopra. Okay, these are the two very important architectures that you see, and with this, with Qubbat Islam being the first masjid of the northern India. Okay, so basically he introduced the Middle East art and the architecture style into India. Okay, so Qubbat Islam is also the first masjid of northern India, first masjid of North India. Okay, remember this. Many a times this question has been asked. Okay, now second one you have to remember, he was a great patron of Qutub-Ud-Din Bakhtiar Kaki, and that's why you see he started the construction. Remember, he started it, he never completed it. Okay, he started it. He started the construction of Qutub Minar. Okay, he started the construction of Qutub Minar, but remember this Qutub Minar is not named after Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. Okay, it is named after the Sufi saint. There was a Sufi saint, and our Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak was a great fan of that Sufi saint. Okay, he was a great patron of him, and his name was Qutub-Ud-Din. Qutub-Ud-Din Bakhtiar Kaki. Okay, so he was a great patron of Qutub-Ud-Din Bakhtiar Kaki, and for him he made Qutub Minar. He named it after him, Qutub Minar. Okay, the name Qutub here in the Qutub Minar is of Qutub-Ud-Din Bakhtiar Kaki. His first name is also Qutub-Ud-Din. Okay, so it's his name. Okay, always remember this. Third point you can write like he started the Indo-Islamic architecture, art and architecture in India. But he was not there for quite a long time. He was not there for quite a long time, so that the art and architecture will develop that much into his time. Okay, so this is all the work that he did during his time. He constructed the two masjids. In Delhi he constructed Qubbat Islam. In Ajmer he constructed the Arai Din Ka Jhopra. Okay, Then he started the construction of Qutub Minar. Okay, after the Sufi saint Qutub-Ud-Din Bakhtiyar Kaki. And the third one is Indo-Islamic art and architecture. Okay, he introduced the Indo-Islamic art and architecture in India. Okay, now see, he ruled very well. He ruled very well, and Qutub Minar's only one floor was constructed. And by 1210, what happened in 1210? In 1210, Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak died. Okay, so Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak died in 1210. How he died? This is a very frequent question that is being asked in one-day examinations like RO and SSC. He died playing Chaugan. Chaugan. Okay, he died while playing Chaugan. Chaugan is like horse polo. This is horse polo. So here he fell from horse. He fell from his horse and hurt his head, and eventually within a day he died. Okay, and when he died, his burial. Where is his burial? His burial is in Anarkali Bazaar. His burial is in Anarkali Bazaar. And where in Anarkali Bazaar? Where is Anarkali Bazaar? He was buried in Lahore itself. Okay, so in Lahore, in Anarkali Bazaar, Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak, you will see his burial. Okay, so in 1210 he died, and after he died, you will see two people will rose to power. Two people rose to power. One from Lahore, and one from Delhi. Okay, from Delhi came the Iltutmish, and from Lahore came his son Aram Shah. Okay, but Aram Shah was able to rule for only like what, 4 or 5 months, and eventually he was deposed by Iltutmish. Eventually he was deposed by Iltutmish, and Iltutmish is going to be our so Aram Shah is going to be our second ruler, and just after Aram Shah we will see Iltutmish becoming the third Sultan of the Delhi Sultanate. So we are not going to see anything about Aram Shah, but we will directly jump onto the Iltutmish, the very important ruler. Okay, chalo. Uh, apart from it, let me see if there are any more points that we should remember from Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak, because there are no such points that you should be remembering from here. But as we are talking about Delhi Sultanate, you can remember like what are the different names of Delhi. Okay, so what are the different names? Delhi has been called by many names. Okay, the first one was like Dillika. Okay, then it was called Yoginipur, and after the construction of Quwwat-Islam, the Delhi itself was called the Quwwat-Islam. Delhi itself was called Quwwat-Islam, even though Quwwat-Islam is a masjid. It's a masjid. Even after that, it's a mosque. Even after that, Delhi is also called the Quwwat-Islam. Okay, and it is also known as the second Baghdad. Second Baghdad. Why it is called second Baghdad? Because everyone will keep fighting for Delhi. Everyone will keep fighting for Delhi. Okay, that's why it is also called as second Baghdad. But for Baghdad also, you will see lot many rulers. When you see the international history, you will see every ruler was fighting a lot for Baghdad, and that's why this is also called the second Baghdad. Okay, and also in the ancient history, you will see in the Prast. Okay, so this is again another name of Delhi. So how many names we saw? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the 5 names by which Delhi is called. So you can make a note of it in your notebook. These are the very static points, and for students who are appearing for one-day examination like RO and all and SSC, you should remember all these names, because a direct question can be posed for you. That Yognipur is another name for which city, or which city is known as the second Baghdad, which city was called the Indraprastha. Okay, and you will get Delhi in one of the options. Okay, so remember this. All right, so now coming back to these are the factual points that we saw. Okay, these are very factual points, and I want you to make a very proper notes very proper notes, so that you can make very proper note in your notebook. Try to make like clouds and everything. Try to draw as much as possible, because that will help you to come back and read your notes. You keep writing, and you will not be coming back to your notes. Okay, so try to keep it as healthy, as beautiful as you can make your notes, so that you can come back and it will be very interesting for you to read your notes also, again, for you. Okay, now if we talk about the subjective questions, what are the questions that can be asked? Okay, so there can be a question that can be posed like explain the art and architecture. But this is not going to be a very long answer type question, because it's going to be a very short 2 or 3 marks questions. Explain the art and architecture introduced by who? Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. Okay. Another question can be posed like um, mostly from Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak's tenure, you will see mostly the one-liners that are being asked, or MCQ questions that are asked in one-day examination. You don't see explanatory answer, but you can certainly be asked like why Qutub-Ud-Din Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak is not referred as the real founder of Delhi Sultanate Delhi Sultanate. Okay, so this is a question that can be posed for you. This is a question. Mostly these are the two questions. If you have any other question with you, or if you have any other question in your mind, do put it in the comment section. And if you have a doubt, you can ask me also. I will try to clear your doubts in the next section. Okay. In the next session, I will clear all your doubts. Don't worry. So put your questions, even if you are watching live, or if you're watching after the live session, you're checking the recordings. Even at that time, put your questions in the comment section, so that it will help other students also. Like what kind of questions can be framed from here. Okay. So whichever examination that you went through, if you came through a question on Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak, put it in the comment section. Okay. One very important point. Well, I was about to tell this in the Tughlaq dynasty, but let's close it here itself. So a very important point that you have to remember: Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak is one of the two rulers who is not named as Sultan. In the His name was not called in the khutbah of Firoz Shah Tughlaq. In the khutbah of Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Okay, so Firoz Shah Tughlaq used to read khutbah from the mosque or somewhere, and he used to name all the sultans from the start till his name. Okay, in that he never called Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak as sultan. Okay, so this is a very good reference that we get to answer this question here, that why he is not called the real founder, because he was not actually a sultan, and this is the proof that we get from the khutbah of Firoz Shah Tughlaq, that he was not a sultan. He was just a malik. Malik means a minister, right? So he was just a malik. He was not a sultan. Okay, and this question, why Qutb-Ud-Din-Aibak is not referred to as real founder of Delhi Sultan, we will see in detail when we will study about Iltutmish. Not tomorrow, but day after tomorrow. Okay, so tune in day after tomorrow for class on Iltutmish. We will cover Iltutmish in the next class. In one session, we will complete the Iltutmish section. Okay, and then after that, after Iltutmish, we will move on to Razia Sultan. So our target is within 1 week we should be able to finish one dynasty. Okay, we should be able to finish one dynasty. Okay, so we will keep it till here. So we are done with Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. Qutub-Ud-Din-Aibak. Okay, and in the next section we will move on to the next king, next Sultan. We have Aram Shah in between, but we will study about Iltutmish. Okay, so in the next class, tune in for Iltutmish. Okay, Iltutmish. Sorry, Iltutmish. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for watching the class. Thank you very much. And if you like the video, please press the like button, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and share it with your friends. Okay. If you have any suggestions, you can put down your suggestion in the comment section. I will go through your suggestion and try to improve as much as possible. Okay. Until then, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your patience. Have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.